when we look at the density equation. Okay, density is equal to the mass of the object in grams divided by its volume in milliliters. So when we're trying to solve this formula, okay, it is quite possible that I will get you to calculate the density. Well, this is a real easy setup for the formula if it's already the way I want it. So if I've got density here and density is my unknown variable here, well, it's nice and simple. You don't have to rearrange the equation, right? You can just plug in the object's mass, plug in its volume, divide them, boom, you've got your density. But if I tell you that volume is my known variable and density is my known variable, let's look at that example. Okay, so let's move this up and let's look at that example. If I tell you that you have a density of 15 grams, or sorry, not 15, let's go with 10.5 grams per milliliter, and I don't know what the mass is, but I know that its volume is 15 milliliters. Is there a way to solve for x? Yes, there is. There is a way to basically isolate that x to make sure that we can figure it out. So you've got to multiply by the denominator on the side that has the unknown. In this case, 15 milliliters. Whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you must do on the other. So this ends up canceling out, and you're left with x is going to be 15 milliliters times 10.5 grams per milliliter, and you're going to end up with these guys canceling out, and it gives you the unit of what you're looking for. You're looking for mass. Mass is in grams. So if you want to calculate that, go for it. But the same thing can be done if you've got an object's mass and you've got its density, but you're looking for its volume. So in this case, if I redo this and I say that the object's density remains the same, it's going to be 10.5 grams per milliliter, is going to be equal to, let's say we want to say, I don't know. So if I use that same mass and I say that it's 157.5 grams and I'm dividing it by x, well, you know, it's a larger step process, but basically you would end up multiplying, oh, whoops, you guys like the dots, multiplying both sides by x, right, to get rid of it on one side. So then this x is gone, but wait a minute, x is not by itself yet. But you can divide this side by 10.5 grams per milliliter, okay, which means you would end up dividing the x side as well, which is now all by its lonesome, by 10.5 grams per milliliter. And these guys cancel one another out. You're left with x is equal to 157.5 grams over 10.5 grams per milliliter. The grams end up canceling one another out. You're left with milliliters, which is the unit for volume. Now, another easier way to rearrange the equation is to not have to do all that math. I am going to teach you a little trick that only works for equations that are written, okay? X is equal to A over B. So something is equal to a fraction. Okay, if that is the style of equation that you have, you can always draw a triangle and then make a T right smack dab in the middle of it. And that makes how many boxes inside your triangle? 3 boxes. How many variables are in your equation? 3. So what you end up doing here is you place your x in the bottom here, and then you place your fraction a over b. Okay, so if I'm looking for x, well then I just highlight, I hide this part, and look, in order to find x, I must divide a over b. Now, if I am looking for a, if a is my unknown, then I hide a, and look at that, it's x times b. If I am looking for b, if b is my unknown, well, look at that, I hide the b, and it's going to be a over x. So this same concept can apply itself to our density formula. If you draw your triangle, and this triangle only works for these kinds of formulas. 3 variables, where one answer is equal to something over something else. Density is equal to the mass of the object over its volume. So if I hide the D, if you put your finger over the D and you want to find density, then it's going to be the mass divided by the volume. If you want to find the object's mass, you hide the mass, it's going to be density times volume because they're parallel to one another. They're right next to one another. And similarly, if you want to find the volume, you hide the volume, it will be the mass of the object over its density. So that's an easy way to remember these different formulas, because you may not always be asked to calculate an object's density. You might be asked to calculate what its mass is or its volume.